in terms of a counterfeit product. Here about 2 weeks ago, SFI had sent out a notification to all the manufacturers stating that there were a couple companies, or one particular company, and about a week later they followed up with another one that was producing SFI counterfeit labels. The product itself wasn't counterfeit, it was their product, but they were counterfeiting SFI labels. And what that means is that SFI, back up a little bit, SFI is a foundation dedicated to testing and validating certain aspects of safety equipment in terms of safety. So in this particular case, they were driving suits, and when you validate, test, homologate through SFI, they give you approval, and then they sell you the SFI tags. You have to buy them through them, and then you'd sew those affixes onto the product that you're selling, whether that's shoes or gloves or suits or whatever that might be. And what had happened was this company, I won't say the name of the company, it's not my place to do this. I'll give you guys some resources towards the end here that you can use to look this stuff up. But what was happening is they were just producing their own SFI tags in their own garments and then selling them as SFI approved. Now, the company may or may not have even known what SFI does. It was a foreign company, and we see this a lot of times for companies. They'll just copy products and they don't really know what they're copying or why or whatever, but they copy everything. So in this particular case, they were being shipped over with SFI tags. So one of the things that you want to talk about is you want to make sure whatever product you're buying, whether it's ours or anybody else's, you want to make sure that it meets the criteria, the safety criteria that it claims it does. And the only way you really know that is if by choosing a garment that is either SFI, FIA is another one, or Snell in the case of helmets. And all of these three organizations, SFI, FIA, and Snell, have resources on their own websites. Anybody can go to their websites. And I don't know the other two, but SFI is simply sfifoundation.com. And within there, you can search manufacturers and even specific products to make sure that the garment or product that you're looking at meets that criteria. So if you were to go to SFI and you down tab impact and you say, look at our racer suit, right? And it's got, the SFI label on it right here on the sleeve, right? But we put that on, right? So you can look that up and then determine that or validate, confirm that, okay, yeah, that does meet SFI testing protocols and homologation, right? So it's real important. Obviously, you want to make sure that whatever you're buying meets those specifications, because sometimes not every sanction body is savvy to all the different manufacturers out there. So it is possible that you could buy a garment that doesn't meet these standards, which obviously could be dangerous, show up at a sanctioned event, and they may let you go just because they don't know. They see the tag and they go, okay, whatever, right? It's got an SFI tag, you're good to go. But you want to make sure yourself that, due diligence, you want to make sure that the garment that you're using meets the specifications. So that's real important. The other thing is you can look in different places and products. Like I just showed you a jacket, the SFI tag there's on the sleeve. That's a pretty commonplace. Helmets, Snell, SFI, and FI all tend to do it, but the most common one is Snell. Like in our helmet, you'll see it's hard to see in the lighting here, but there's a Snell tag back there in the back of the helmet. You got to pull the padding down, right? And that'll tell you what iteration of specification it is too. Like Snell, Snell every 5 years changes the specifications of the helmet requirements. The idea being that conceivably each iteration of helmet is safer than the last. Now, SFI, with their garments in particular, they haven't really changed those specifications in a number of years. You have SFI, there's 1, 5, 15, and 10, 15, and 20. The most common are going to be 1, 5, 15, and 20. But they haven't really changed those in years. So The helmet's the one you really got to look out for. And a lot of sanctioning bodies will require you to update to a newer standard helmet every 5 years. Most typically, they'll let you run usually the current Snell or prior. So that's 10 years minimally, sometimes up to 11. They'll give you a 1 year grace period to replace it. Anyways, so that's that. You want to make sure what you're buying is there are resources out there. Like I said, check FIA if it's an FIA product, or if it's a sanctioning body you're running with requires you to run FIA. Snell for most helmets. And then, like I said, SFI is going to govern mostly everything, but mostly suits, gloves, shoes, and things like that.